Hey there.
How? Yeah, I got my little showstopper.
No worries. So,
hello, everybody. Excited utterance here.
He started barking, man, just as we go to do the show. So I had to grab a hold of him real quick.
Not a problem.
Do we have a little echo? Does someone have
Sounds okay for me.
I don't hear one.
Do you have a
I'm not hearing it either.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Excited Utterance here. My name is Hella, and we have Darlie Talk, and we have Lauren Jenai and the lovely Ty Tucker. And congratulations, guys. I have to say, there is one thing that a lot of people weren't expecting, and that is that Mr. Ty Tucker, a pro se defendant, you managed to score a hung jury in your trial, a murder trial. And I'm sorry to hear that you had you actually had to defend yourself in a murder trial at all. And I that's a terrible thing.
I don't recommend it.
No, that in itself is a terrible thing. But well done, because you did manage to convince at least some jurors that you were not guilty. So congratulations on that, sir. And thank you for being here. And welcome also to your lovely wife, Lauren Jenai. Is that how you say your surname?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Hi. Yep. Thank you. My name's Ella. I'm from Australia, and this is my co-host.
Yes.
This is Salvador Dali Talk.
Yes.
Not the real Salvador Dali.
No.
I don't think you can paint.
No, I cannot.
Lovely.
One of my favorites.
Lovely.
Yes.
And welcome to everyone in chat today. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have enough of that here. We have Paige M. And the lovely Becca Lynn is here.
Yes.
Hi, Becca.
Hi, Becca.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Becca.
Becca. Thank you, Becca, for introducing us to these wonderful people. Becca is a lovely friend of these guys. So let's get into it, everybody. Now, Mr. Ty Tucker. How, sir, did you end up in this situation? Just like the brief cut down version, and I know it's a long story.
Well, don't get me wrong. It's somebody else asked me that question. Once on I think it was Court TV or Law and Crime, one of them. But it came down to being Maury Povich into it. Is basically it.
Maury Povich.
Well, because they had was it from the night of the crime? I mean, literally almost right after the crime, right? They had a couple suspects right off the rip, right? I mean, they had Detroit. They knew his nickname. They knew what he looked like. He'd been described. And then a chick named Anthea Clay. That was actually the very first person that Paula names coming out of the house, right? So those are the two suspects that they had right off the rip. Then they also had the description from Todd O'Quinn that the other guy was a white guy because Manny saw him take his mask off as he was running. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Anyway, so I go pay my phone bill, and I walk out of the
3 days later. 3 days later.
This is 3 days later, right? I mean, I guess it's like I know it was a few days later, but I go out and I'm going to go pay my my phone bill and go get to Burger King, get something to eat, whatever. I'm on my way out of the building, and Roy Wilson stops me and asks, if he could walk with me over to the Burger King. And I don't know anything's wrong, So, I mean, I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem, right? Anyway, so he walks with me to, Metro PCS where I pay my phone bill. And apparently a CI, that's, that's what they call him, confidential informant, whatever. They knew they were looking for a big black guy named Detroit. And then, this guy knew him or whatever. And he IDs him and just says, hey, I just saw Detroit go into Metro PCS with a white guy, right? Like I said, they're looking for a white suspect, right? Well, okay, they go into Metro PCS and, you know, they pull up my phone record and they also happen to pull up my Facebook, right? And on my Facebook profile picture, this is November 17th. So still has my picture from Halloween night.
Sure.
And there I am on my Facebook profile picture with a knife, just like, you know, so, you know, Captain is like literally like, booyah, there's our white boy. Right. And it happens just like that because we have a recording of when it actually goes down. And she literally just, you know, lead detective walks in. She's like, there's your white guy. And that's it. After that, man, you know, everything happens. White guy, you know.
You got your person and that's it. And they run with it.
Yeah. Well, and that they basically, they just ran with it after that. And what was sad, this is the sad part. There's people in this story who didn't necessarily do anything dirty, right? But I mean, there were red flags all over the place, and they just don't say anything. You know, they just don't. You know, go to a superior, go to somebody else, go to, you know, wait a second, this isn't right. We don't normally do it this way. You know,
it's too difficult,
and they just don't.
Yeah,
you know,
like why would you? It's just like go to work each day, come home each day, and not cause a fuss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, okay, if you're a captain of an entire division of the sheriff's department, I mean, she was in charge of aviation. Sadly, she was in charge of training, you know, and she's in charge of major crimes, and she's in charge of special ops, the drug detail, all that stuff, right?
And this was Penny Phelps.
So this is a major, this is a major boss, right? But nobody even thinks to say, you know, okay, well, what evidence do you have saying that? Or, you know, what do we have on this guy? You know, what should I be looking for? Or anything like that. Nobody even bothers to even ask questions. And, you know, I get that she's a big boss, you know, and you do what you're told, right? And man, do what you're told, you know, at that point. But if you have questions, you should be taking them to, you know, somebody over her head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, it's kind of like the military, I guess, like that, you know, follow orders and then go to the colonel later, you know?
Yeah. I have questions about this person, Penny Phelps, is it?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So she's been sacked since, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So she was the one who interrogated Johnson, isn't it?
Yes.
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 She interrogated everybody pretty much.
All right. All right. She was not called as a witness in the trial, right?
No.
All right.
No.
Why was that?
She is a hot mess of a woman.
I'll go ahead and let my wife answer this one, man, because she
Tell me this part.
So,
go ahead, Lauren.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, she was deposed in the criminal trial. She also, as Ty was just saying, went on to sue Tyrone and myself, his former attorney, and the sheriff over this case. So we've also seen her deposed in a civil case where she's suing us. And she's just one of these people who is, in my opinion, because I haven't sued for defamation. So in my opinion, she is full of herself beyond, and a control freak beyond. And she's willing to lie, bold-faced lie, in front of a judge, in front of anybody, anything to get her way. You know, and what we've come to learn through deposition.
She actually admitted that on the stand, by the way.
Yeah, we've
lie to a judge, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and people were afraid of her. She ruled the department, and there were a lot of people who saw, not just in Ty's case, but in other cases, her doing things that were not okay. But they were afraid of her, and she had her close knit group that stuck together and got away with a lot of things they should not have. I mean, she is a piece of work.
I've noticed, right? Because this is the other thing about her. Can I just bring something up on the screen? Just a moment. Treehouse Murder. Lead detective claims his boss coached witnesses and fabricated evidence. Is the boss her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The boss. Okay. Yeah, the boss would be her and a former. Well, actually, you know, she just got her license back, but the first prosecutor, Colleen Dunn, those would be the two that he's talking about.
Okay, so this is a Key West the newspaper.
Real
Yes,
quick,
sir?
can I ask, suspended for, Colleen Dunn, she was suspended for ethics violations.
She was suspended. She was suspended for 1 year for withholding evidence, and for lying to the court. And
In another case.
that was in a different. That was in a different case. And then Lauren went ahead and started our process and got her suspended for another year. So
for lying in your case.
She tried to deny us a ability to get married when I was in jail.
She really don't like you guys.
Well, then she also, that wasn't luck, because she also lied and said the court was the one who objected to it. And, so she actually threw the judge under the bus. And, she just, look, and personally, she would have had her license taken away permanently if it hadn't been for some comments the judge threw in our motion to dismiss. But we'll rectify that later.
Okay. So this is not, the reason I found this really interesting is because this is not you guys talking. This is an outside.
That's the picture I'm talking about right there.
Look at that. Oh, you're
that got me Maury Povich. Look at his eyes. Look at his nose. Look at the knife in his hand.
Hey. Yeah. Well, the court channels love things like this, so they bring things like that up. Anyway, okay. So it's a plastic knife, is it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yep. You can see the beads around my neck.
It's
look
like, at you. Yeah. You look terribly guilty.
Hey, look, the chicks who took the picture said, "Look scary." I guess I did a little too good a job. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay, so this is very interesting. So I heard something in all of this this information that we've looked through. There was something about why she actually got suspended, and it was to do with something, a racial slur or something like that.
Go ahead. I'd like Lauren go ahead and you can take Phelps for a second. We can tag team.
Actually, what happened was when I first received the discovery from Ty's case and was going through the videos, I found video that was of the interrogation room that was empty, but you could hear the officers in the next room talking. And at the time, she was trying to get a cop to pull over Rory Wilson to get his fingerprints, or to somehow, because they had the name Detroit and they needed to verify that he was Rory Wilson or whatever. And she had asked the cop to act like a white supremacist, picking on the poor black guy on a bike kind of thing, as a ruse to not alert him to he was being questioned about a murder. And so that went out, and nobody really liked the fact that she used that particular kind of ruse.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Look, this day and age, that is about as stupid as it gets.
But also
it really is.
Not to talk over you, Ty, but the crazy thing is that is in some ways the least egregious thing she's done. And at the time, she had other internal affairs complaints, investigations going on that would have resulted in her being terminated as well. But I felt like they picked that one because it was the least as offensive as it was, the least offensive in terms of the criminality of her behavior.
And it would easily get headlines, it
would get headlines. Yeah.
Well,
people would just quickly look at that and go,
viral,
what?
Which, man, that part she wasn't liking. They weren't liking it. They actually had the union for the police, man. They insisted on her termination. Was it the community college where she was teaching law enforcement stuff at? Literally, they told her that she couldn't be a professor there anymore. And it hammered her. There's no doubt about it. But again, how stupid can you be in this day and age, right? Okay, and she still couldn't. And you can ask Lauren this. She's still at the civil trial. Or not civil trial, because we never went to trial, got dismissed, right? But the thing is, during the civil case, she still couldn't get why that was wrong, right? It's like she kept on coming, oh, well, they do ruses all the time. They have, people play a Nazi skinhead if they're trying to infiltrate the KKK. Well, okay, yeah, that's one thing, because they don't know they're a cop. That's kind of the whole point.
That's an undercover thing, though, isn't it?
Right.
That's when you're actually undercover.
If a member of the public sees a uniformed officer in a squad car pull a black man over on a bicycle and start acting like a neo-Nazi racist cop, what do you think anybody who sees that's going to think? You know what I mean? You're instantaneously causing a whole bunch of problems for the department. It's like you could have used any other ruse, man, other than that, and you probably would have been okay, but she couldn't get it.
Okay. So for those who aren't really aware of like who this person is and how she affects your case, maybe we should just have a little bit of a look at her in action. So we have, let's do that, shall we? Because we've got a lot of viewers here who like watching a good interrogation, and so we have the interrogation of Mr. Johnson.
Yes, thank you, Becca.
Thank you for that, Becca. So let's have a look at that. And also, I just wanted to ask you, couldn't you bring Phelps in as a witness for your defense?
I mean, would that be a bad idea for you?
It would probably be a horrible idea. Phelps, man, is already okay. Phelps has already lied. I don't know how many times. And she also, like I said, even on the stand, right, during the deposition, she admitted that she's willing to lie in front of a judge, right? Because, Kara, our attorney at the time, she literally gets up there. Phelps gets on the stand and she says, okay, it's okay for police to lie to civilians, right? And she says, yes, right? And she's like, well, okay, who do you consider a civilian? Do you consider a defense attorney a civilian? She's like, yes. And she's like, okay, well, how about a prosecutor? Do you consider a prosecutor a civilian? She's like, yes. And then the most idiotic one of all, do you consider a judge a civilian? She's like, yes. And it's like, so you just admitted you're willing to lie to a judge, because they're a civilian and they're not a cop, so it's okay.
Under oath?
Under oath. This is on the stand. I mean, this is while she's actually giving testimony.
Come on now.
Oh, and by the way, before she did this thing with Johnson and Rory and April, the suspects, the actual suspects, where she tells them, you're the good guy. We all know who the asshole is here, there. She does say that in the interview you're getting ready to play, so I don't mind cursing a second. But the thing is she does say that, right? And he says, is it Ty? So, man, she walks him through this whole interview. But before she does this on the stand, this is what she says. The 4 things she had making me a suspect, right? I was white. I was staying in the warehouse, right? Rory Wilson went with me to go pay my phone bill. And what was the other one? Oh God, that was the other one. It was like, okay, Rory Wilson, and then the Facebook picture. It has nothing from the crime, nothing from the crime in it, but man, but the Facebook picture was the sheriff.
That was damning.
Yeah. How dare you celebrate Halloween?
Okay. So the reason I asked was
and I mean, I've thought about this a million times trying to think if there was any way I could have avoided this, right? And I mean, not really, not unless I'm not going to be human. I mean, who the hell, man, dresses up on Halloween thinking that, oh, wait a second, I shouldn't do this because I might get hemmed up for murder. I mean, nobody does that. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. Please.
That's okay. But there's a deposition there that clearly states that she has been known to lead witnesses before. So that's why. I mean, but you're right, obviously. And if your lawyers have advised you that that's a silly idea, clearly, to have.
And then we'll get to it, I guess, later after you show this interview. But that news article that you showed, there's something even more concerning than just my case. And it came up. Here's the thing: is it comes up when he does his deposition. The lead detective comes up and he says something that is important to everybody. Actually, everybody kind of needs to hear this. But he goes ahead and does that, and man, that's why there's only 2 articles that came out from that deposition, right? Because we get put under a gag order immediately after that, right? That's when we get put under a gag order, we can't talk anymore, right? So we don't get to say anything about what what was in that deposition to anybody. So it's just kind of coming out now, but But it did silence the thing for a second, but it's kind of surfacing its ugly head now that I've gone ahead and asked for more investigations again. So we'll see how that goes.
Are you under a gag order right now? I assume you're not, because
No.
We did. Don't worry, he'll be back. I'm sure it might be an internet issue. Cool.
Okay, so the judge did not go ahead with the gag order.
No, when the camera showed up for the trial, it became a conversation, and the state had made some comments that Ty was going to argue, hey, they're violating the gag order, and basically the judge didn't want to go down that road, and he said he really couldn't see how he was going to control this anyway, and he lifted the gag order.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, good.
And by the way, there is a new judge, everybody. So that previous judge is no longer, and we have a new judge. So fresh set of eyes. We hope it will be.
On that topic, though, I always wondered how Judge Jones could impose the gag order on myself, who was a non-party.
I have no idea.
I know.
I don't know about the state of Florida. I know that there are people like in other states that have been bound by gag orders. So
yeah, but they're usually related to the case.
Yeah, I'm not related to the case. I felt like
you're married.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
All right. So I hope Ty's okay. But anyway, we'll get going with this, and I'm sure he'll find his way back in. So this here is the interrogation of Mr. Johnson, Travis Johnson. For the audience, Lauren, would you like to give everybody a little bit of a rundown of why he's in this room right now?
Well, so actually he was called down. He was picked up by the cops in a town several miles from Key West, and they told him that they wanted to bring him into the department because he had his things out of his truck stolen. And so they told him, we found your things, but we want you to come down and ID your things. Sure. And so he went down under the understanding that that's what it was about. And after interviewing him or talking to him about those things, which it turned out they didn't recover any of his items.
Yeah.
They kind of slyly go into, and we're going to read you your Miranda rights, and we want to talk to you about something. And
welcome back.
Yeah.
I figured out that I froze for a second, so I don't know how much you guys got of that, but whatever.
We still heard you, I think.
Yeah, we heard you.
You just froze.
You dropped out.
Okay, good.
That's quite normal. It's fine.
But yeah, so then they started questioning about this crime, and he denies knowing anything, no involvement, nothing, up until what you're about to play.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he denied everything, and then he got into this room, and I don't know, but I expect they kind of made him wait for a little bit and sort of feel really nervous and all that kind of thing, they tend to do.
He was interviewed for hours before this.
Yeah, right. Okay, so they probably left him a little bit hungry.
He wasn't lying. He was vacillating.
I'm sorry, he's vacillating.
I love that term.
Vacillating.
It's become one of my new favorites. I had never heard it before this.
I know.
Maybe I'm just a little, I do have an education, but maybe I didn't get a good enough one. But it is one of my favorite words now.
So. All right, we love a good interrogation around here. So here we go, guys. I've watched this one already, so I'm not going to give you any spoilers. But yeah.
And let me know how the sound is, guys.
Cool.
At all. My feeling was there was some really bad blood between you and Rocky. No. Some very bad blood.
No, dude. No. Not over his face. I don't
think. I'm trying to figure out what could you have done. I mean,
no,
I'm listening to,
I haven't done anything to anybody, man. Like you can find anybody that knows me whatsoever. I'm not violent. I'm not aggressive.
I'm a good boy.
I don't start fights. You know what I mean? I don't. I've seen enough violence to last a lifetime, man.
All right.
And for him to say that he's mad at me,
man, no, my feeling, listening to him of the details of his side of the story, the reason we're here.
Right.
My feeling was, damn, this guy must have really crossed him to be coming in here talking like this with us.
It doesn't make me feel well because I'm having enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't.
Don't sound like it, man. I mean,
No.
listening to you don't sound like it.
No, dude, I've lived a good, decent life.
You spend a lot of time trying to get.
I have my vices. I have, the things that I like to do, but I don't hurt nobody.
You know, the big difference of when he gives us a time or something, we've been able to verify it. You know?
I don't know how, but I don't know how to remember times like that, man. I just don't.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to that chair.
I mean, I really do wish I could remember times better.
Yeah.
You know? I normally have to write everything down so I can remember this shit.
Well, luckily, they're going to tell you everything to say.
Don't worry, sir.
Lucky for you.
I'm really upset. It's not at you, okay? And you and I have had some good conversations over the last couple of days, and I'm going to tell you what has just happened and why I'm so upset. We are picking up April right now, and we're taking
Okay,
her to
that's
a
Phelps
steakhouse.
speaking, right?
Okay.
Yes.
And the reason we have to do this,
Yeah, the lady,
is because
yep.
Ty threatened to kill her and the baby. Yeah. Yes. So two of the decent people in the story,
Are no
April and
longer
her baby, who have nothing to do with any of this,
No.
have now been told, you better stop talking, you better start running, because if anything more is said to the police, I am going to take care of you and your baby. And I've got a 27-year-old first-time mother who is scared to death that she's going to get killed merely for telling the truth.
And I told her
With
to
a plastic
call me
knife.
if she needed anything, and give me my phone number.
Well, and so far, I mean, not only a murderer,
I came
now I'm
back
a
to the
baby
house
killer
and I
too.
called you
You
guys.
know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Makes me
Yeah.
sick.
Told you and got my stuff and got out of there. And I told April,
She told us
if
that.
she needed anything at all, to give me a call, and I would come back and help her.
Travis, the really sad part of the story is this.
Poor
We've had the
guy.
opportunity to talk to a lot of people that are involved, and most of the people in the story are good, decent people. And you're one of the good, decent people in the
Oh,
story.
you're
Travis.
one of the
You really
good,
are.
decent
You're
people.
a guy who's bounced back
It gets
from
worse.
hard luck and is really
Oh, this
taking
is-
life and moving
This is so
forward.
classic.
You did everything you could with a bad situation after the hurricane. You get victimized. You lose your tools. You lose your cooking utensils. They scratch your truck, and you still stay positive. You're not the one out there saying, "I'm going to beat you. I'm going to kill you." What you're doing is you're doing the right thing, talking to the police, trying to get this set straight. You're one of the good guys in the story. Rory's one of the good guys in the story. Detroit is doing right by April. He doesn't have a lot of money, but he was working. He got her at least a somewhat decent place to stay. The conversation you and I had last night. It's not the Taj Mahal that you were living in, but it was a roof, and it was a place, and it was safe.
I'm trying to make it as safe as
I know.
possible, you know.
Yep. And Travis, you've been doing right by everybody. And Rory was doing
Darling, would you mind pausing for a
He
second,
knows
please?
she's scared. He knows that it's her first baby.
Yeah, Rory's a good guy,
Okay.
but he got DNA on the man knife. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
For anyone who's never watched an interrogation before, what Becca Lynn said. Phelps tells Travis he's one of the good people in the story, and Rory is one of the good people in the story. Okay, this is like classic police interrogation technique to tell the person who's speaking that they're the good person in the story.
Yeah.
You're good. Like, you're not a bad person. That's really like
He was a good boy.
yeah, most of us who watch these interrogations, we hear those words all the time.
You
You're
didn't mean it.
good. Like,
Here's the
you're not a
problem
bad
with that,
person.
too,
You
is
didn't
like-
mean anything wrong. It's fine.
Yep.
It keeps them talking, and it makes them think that they're not in any trouble. They also do this thing where they go, oh, look, it's just procedure. We're doing a proper investigation. We're just going to read you your rights. That part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're reading you your Miranda rights.
Yeah.
Because
you,
you know what, they're going to use it against you in court.
What were you saying?
Oh,
Well, the other thing about this too is, man, we talked about the read technique. Okay, she does this with Rory Wilson, April Walker, and Travis here, right? Again, all suspects, right?
mhm.
But when she does it to me, if you actually read the read technique,
Mhm.
you know, my responses are somebody who actually didn't do it, right? Because
Yep.
if you start threatening people who did it with DNA and start threatening them with fingerprints or start threatening them with blood on shoes and all this other stuff they threaten me with, normally what the read technique says, I can't say, I can just say what it says, but it says that those responses don't, you know, that's not what somebody who's guilty does. What somebody who's guilty does is they start looking for excuses as to why, you know, their you know, DNA would be on the knife, why their DNA would be on the, you know, on the mask, or, you know, on, you know, whatever, right? Instead of going, I'm sitting there the whole time, I'm going, I don't care, test away, you know, I didn't do anything.
Go
You know,
for your
go ahead,
life.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what somebody who's guilty does, you know. So
100%. Okay, keep going, please.
All right.
He's proud to be with her, and he's proud to be having a son. He's waiting for that baby to come into this world. So there's good people in the story. You're a good person in the story. April's a good person in the story. Rory, Detroit is a good person in the story.
Stand in.
The asshole in the story, you and I both know who the asshole in the story is.
Wait for it.
No, we both know. Don't ask the question. You and I both
Could you
know who
go
the
back
bad guy in the
10
story is.
seconds,
Oh yeah.
please?
We know. And he's only making it worse. And he's proud to be having a son. He's waiting for that baby to come into this world. So there's good people in the story. You're a good person in the story. April's a good person in the story. Rory, Detroit is a good person in the story. The asshole in the story, you and I both know who the asshole in the story is. No, we both know. Don't ask the question.
He goes,
You and
is
I
it
both know
Ty?
who the bad guy is.
Yeah.
I love that bit. He's like, is it Ty? It's like,
I
Did
love
I
how the
guess right?
prosecutor was like, she didn't tell him to say that.
he's asking
Hmm.
like it's a quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, is this like, Wheel of Fortune or something?
Yeah. Jeopardy.
Keep going.
You know. And he's only making it worse, Travis. How in the hell do you go to a 27-year-old, 9-month pregnant woman and tell her to her face, I'm going to hurt you and your baby. I'm going to take care of you and your baby if you don't stop running your mouth. What's Abel trying to do? Find out what's going on with Detroit. She's home alone.
Yeah.
Scared to death.
Yeah.
Asks a simple question. You know what she said to you?
Yeah.
How come Rory's stuff is on the internet and Ty isn't? And you were honest with her and said, Rory's in jail and Ty's not. And her statement to you was, how does that happen?
That's what I told her. I said, I don't know what the fuck to think about all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of
I
something
think what
while I'm
happened
watching
is-
this again.
Let's talk
During
about
the trial, man, I don't know if you noticed this. I asked him about this, right?
Yes,
And I
yes.
actually asked him because he was there that morning. I was like, did you hear me threaten April? Did you hear me, say anything to April? And actually he says no. He actually,
Yeah.
he actually, does tell the truth for a second. So
Yeah.
like,
And
yeah.
I also loved when you caught him with the brake lights moving or not moving. I believe it was.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the prosecutor, man, who set him up for that. It's like,
And yeah, that was great. That was a really good one.
it's like,
Oh, sorry.
Poking holes in his story has never been hard just because look, after 6 years, right? 6 years he's had to get his story straight, right? Still can't get it to match the evidence. It's like you think they would do better than that,
Yeah. Prepare him a little better.
Tulip asked a good question. So I don't remember seeing this video in the trial. Why could this video not have
Actually,
been
I did play this video at the trial because, okay, to put the part where Phelps tells him his story and tells him he's the getaway driver and all that other stuff, which is where that came from, right? There's nothing in the case says he was a getaway driver until Phelps says it, right?
Right.
Well, to get that in, what the prosecutors told me is they were like, well, if you put that part of the tape in there, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to want to play the rest of it as a rebuttal. And the judge said he'd allow it. So I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. You want to put the whole tape in? Because I know there's, stuff like this where, man, she's talking about me killing her unborn baby and all that, right? I'm like, that's not exactly going to, I don't really want that in front of the jury, but at the same time, I mean, if that's what I got to do to, get it in, I'm like, all right, it's a judgment call, but I'd rather have it be in my control than theirs. So I played the whole tape for him.
It's risky though, isn't it?
It was. That was
once the jury hears
call.
something, they hear it. So you can't get them to unhear it. Like even if it's just like it's out of context and it's not like a real accusation, but it's still like
I did happen to sneak in there. I happened to sneak in there that you notice April Walker isn't here, man, testifying. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you for that. Okay. Dolly? Hello? Dolly? Is he back?
Sorry.
Hey.
Yep, there he is.
My cat was being a pain.
He was being a pain. They do that sometimes. He's got two.
do.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Let's talk about the good people in the story and the not so good people in the story. Not so good people living at the treehouse. Addicted to crack, selling their body for crack, people coming and going worse than the place that you're living in, because there's no one in that treehouse that's trying to take care of the property. Matt's too old.
What is the treehouse?
The place across from CVS.
Okay, I've heard
Okay.
about the cracked in.
Yep, the crack den.
Okay.
You know where it is.
Yeah.
And you know the kind of people that are hanging out the crack den.
No, I don't. I've never been in there.
Yep, and I believe that.
Never been over there. Like, I don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scout's honor.
So I think here's what happened. They get a little bit of money. And a little bit of money on Stock Island is 100. A lot of money on Stock Island is 1,000. And there's word on the street that $1,000 has changed hands. So Paul at the treehouse got $1,000. And I think there's discussion. There's a plan. Let's go and get the $1,000. They're crackheads. We'll go in. We'll make it quick. We'll come out. No one will know us. We'll make sure that we got masks. We'll make sure nobody knows it's us. They don't need the $1,000 to smoke up crack. We need the $1,000 to live. We'll do right with the money. We'll do right by all of us in the place on 2nd Street. And let's make this fast and easy.
You know the whole story, don't
And
you,
I know
lady?
you were part of the plan. Now, I also know, hear me carefully, Travis, I also know that that plan never included hurting anyone at all.
How do you
Because
know
had there
that?
been discussion and
How
you
do
talked
you
about
know?
hurting someone, you never would have participated.
Were you
Because
there?
you're not that guy. You're not that guy that's going to sit down at the table with people and say, yeah, let's go beat somebody up. Let's go rape somebody. Let's go rob somebody. Let's go kill somebody. That's not you. You're a guy who's trying to survive. That's you, Travis. Now, could I hear you? Could I see you saying, let's go get some money to make life a little bit easier for us? Yep. Because that's the kind of guy you are. You're struggling. I get it. You lost all your tools. You lost all your cooking supplies. The place that you're living is mold infested. Your mattress got wet. It's hard. And you're struggling. And there's this, let's go get a little bit of money to make life a little bit easier. And you didn't go into the treehouse. You didn't. But you drove them there. You drove them there, Travis. We got your truck on video. The camera right where you parked it. When you pulled off Laurel Avenue and parked your truck, and Detroit and Ty got out of that truck, all three of you are on a camera video. Now, you did the right thing because you dropped him off and then you got the hell out of there. You're gone. You don't know what they did in the treehouse. You don't know about it until after. The plan wasn't to go up in there and hurt anybody. The plan wasn't to go up there and kill anybody. The plan was go up there, get the money, get your ass back, and then we'll split the money. That's the plan. And then everything went bad. And it wasn't Detroit that broke bad. You and I both know who broke bad.
Broke
Who
bad.
went off script, Travis?
Bad.
Who? The same guy that's threatening a 27-year-old 9-month pregnant woman. And that's not you. He broke bad. And he did the one thing no one talked about. There was never any plan to hurt anybody or kill anybody.
Oh, stop it.
And now you've all been living with
Oh,
that for the
God,
last
this is
5
just
days.
making me really angry.
Nobody's left. Everybody's had a difficult time going to work. You know the one guy who's walking around loving it?
Who's being
Bragging to everybody
interrogated
today.
here?
Yeah, I
set
kind
up
of understand
Detroit.
that feeling.
He's in jail. I'm a free man. He thinks this is funny, Travis. He's bragging. He's not filled with guilt. He's not filled with remorse.
Oh, hang
He's
on,
not having
hang on.
trouble
Okay, would you
sleeping.
mind pausing it, please?
He's not mourning the life of.
What's with this bragging thing?
No,
Where'd
it's
she
like,
get that from?
Well, you know
Oh,
what?
'cause,
It's
man, during my interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
during my
said
interview. Yeah, go
in
ahead.
his interview he had heard on the street that Matt had got stabbed like 7 times. And he was kind of asking, like, is that true? Or like, I can't believe something like that would happen. But she twisted it and he was bragging. Yeah, he got stabbed 7 times. Just
Well, because
ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, at first when they were questioning me, I didn't know I was a suspect, right? I mean, okay, first
Yeah.
when they came and got us, I
Okay.
thought it was over drugs, to be honest, because man, the detective showed up like a day or two earlier, and
Mhm.
they were asking questions about Rory and asking if he was a drug dealer and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
so I thought, man, it was over drugs, right? I thought that's what they were raiding the house for, right? And so anyway, so they're asking me questions and I'm just answering because, man, it's like, okay, I mean, if you're a witness or whatever, man, you don't, there's no reason for me to, man, lawyer up or man.
What they do, they make you think you're a witness.
Right. And so like, anyway, so, I'm talking to them about that but eventually they asked me about the murder, right? And what I'd heard. And so I tell them what I'd heard about that, right? Because I'd heard about it actually at dinner that night. And then, it was like at DeLuna's, man, with this chick Janice tells me about it. That's the first I hear about it, right?
Yeah.
And I heard it as a knife fight up in the parking lot of CVS or something like that. Somebody got stabbed up in the parking lot, right? And anyway, but that same night is when they do the raid, and that's when I end up down here, man, getting interrogated all night, right? And Phelps comes in on me too and tries this, same technique with me, right? But it's like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know, first off, she's trying to say the video, the Florida Keys Electric video, that's me and Rory, right? When it's actually Travis and Rory, right? You know, but you know, they both admitted that now. I mean, now they both have admitted that. But Travis, man, when you know, even after he's supposedly not vacillating anymore, right? When they show him the video, he's like, "Oh, it's me. Wait a second. No, it's not me. I don't have shoes like that, man. I don't have shoes like that." Right. So, you know, stuff like that. It's like, but she makes me sick. I mean, just straight up makes me sick. Because you should see, you think this one's bad? See the one she does with April Walker. That one's horrible too. Wow.
We can do that next time. Look at the popcorn now.
So much fun.
We actually did put all this stuff online for people to see, and that's another reason we got the gag order. Because I was still in jail, right? And I couldn't watch any of the videos or anything like that, you know. So I didn't know what any of these videos had on them, right? Lauren's looking at them, you know, at home. There's 2,800 hours worth of video in the whole case, right? There's a ton, right? And I can't watch any of it, and she's looking for ways to, you know, figure this thing out, you know, trying to get me out of jail, all that other stuff. And you know, I can't watch any of it, right? So, but one of the things that you know, Lauren and I, you know, talked about, and I had her throw everything online. I was like, look, I've got nothing to hide from anybody. I don't care. Throw it online, man. It's like, look, there's nothing, man, I have to hide. You know, so I mean, if people think I need to be convicted or I need to go face this in court, then let them see what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Because
really interesting.
because man,
sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
The reason why I thought from the beginning that you might be not guilty is because you didn't take that plea bargain. And and if you had been guilty, I think you would have taken that plea bargain.
I'll tell you right now, I would have. I'll tell you point blank, I would have. I mean, look, if I had done this thing and they offered me time served, I could walk. I'd be insane not to, you know?
That to me was the big, that was the big thing right from the start. I was
but by doing that, you're admitting that you're guilty.
It was guilty.
A scumbag crime, which means, man, everybody out there, including my children, including, my wife, man, including, at least she would know, but at the same time, I mean, it's like, no, why should I do that? Why should I do that? I mean, look, and not only that, I'm condemning whoever's next in line for this crap. You know what I'm saying? I'm condemning them to the same thing that just happened to me, right? Because every 100%. Time you take that plea, when you didn't do it and you don't take it to trial like this, then man, all you're doing is condemning the next person because they know they can get away with it,
Yep, that's it. And we have seen, haven't we, Dali? We and everyone in chat, we have seen injustice. We have seen crooked DAs. We have seen people go to prison, and we know of at least one, and we're fighting for him right now, who's in prison till his 90s, and he is not guilty. And he did not receive a
I know
fair
personally
trial.
a few of them, and unfortunately for them, it's not 90. They're in there till they die. In Florida, it's natural life. You're in there till you die. There is no possibility for parole. You're not getting early release. You're literally going to spend the rest of your life in prison. He is completely innocent. Zachariah Anderson, he's completely innocent. He did not do it.
I started and that case because of your
site.
Oh,
you did? You did? Wonderful. Oh, thank you very much. That's wonderful. Yes, thank you for that. We've got so many resources on him, and
it's insane.
Our hearts just break.
People going to go through this quite a bit, right? Because I actually did some work as an advocate right after I got out of jail. I started working for a bunch of advocacy groups, right? I'm like, I wanted to help this help other people, man, who have this same problem, because unfortunately too often nobody finds out until later. They do 20, 30 years in prison and then it's sorry, we know you're innocent.
My bad.
You know what I mean? And exactly. My bad. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that 20, 30 years of your life. I've seen it, with a bunch of them, right? Sean Ellis, the Central Park Five, you keep on John Juca, his mom. Talk about a woman who's willing to go, man, far for for her son. She actually went undercover, man, with one of the jurors trying to find out, how they convicted him, right? So they called her the undercover mother, is what they called her. But she
I'm
actually
aware.
contacted me, of all people.
Wow.
I was actually kind of a fan, It's like
That's right.
But
And you do not want
happens
to
a
have to
lot.
be going to an appellate court. Like you
Yeah.
do not want this is the thing. Like Zach now is trying to get an appeal,
Yep.
and it's
That
so
man's got that
much
right.
money. It is so much time, and he is stuck in prison right now. And
Yeah.
it's
Do you know what
just
the
a
average
hell
for
of a
appeals
process.
is in America?
Cost
8
wise?
years.
Oh,
8 years
Oh,
is the average for an appeal. You're going to do 8 years in prison.
At least. Yeah, exactly.
that's
and
the average.
then like 1% of them get through. It's very, very, very poor chances. Paige has a question. When is the retrial? I can't believe
I
they
know.
are retrying such a weak case.
Yes. I know there's a hearing on March 11th, right?
11th.
Yeah, well, the thing is I knew they were going to. I mean, there was no surprise there. But we don't know yet because, on March 11th, we have a status hearing, right? And they're going to meet the new judge, Judge Morgan, right? He's the new judge, right? I've heard good things about him. I've never met him. I don't know anything, other than what I've been told. But I've actually been told he's fair, and he's not part of the Bubba system, so to speak, right? Because he actually got appointed by the governor after one of the other judges stepped down and retired, right? So he's kind of, out of that whole thing. At least I hope,
Well, it can't be worse.
But we won't have a date until after. There's some other things that are going to come up before we get a date for the trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that going to be
thank goodness.
televised? Do you know?
Retrial hearing.
The hearing.
For the retrial set for March 11th. Yep, exactly. And
We
here's the
will-
one that you're going to want
we
to
will
watch
stream
for,
that.
though. I'll tell you the biggest one that's going to come up probably is going to be the motion to dismiss, because we have to do an evidentiary hearing. It's required. And literally, Lauren and I are going through, and man, we're actually going through the whole thing, and from beginning to end, right? So literally from the time this kind of stuff happens, right, all the way to the end of trial, and we're going to list off everything, everything they did, and we'll see what the judge thinks at that point,
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Well, we'll be there.
arguing it is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
So.
Now, hey David, how are you?
Hi, David.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a really interesting ride, and I'm glad that you have a team behind you of lawyers who are helping you with all of the documentation as well, because that's tricky. And that's the case, isn't it, Ty?
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is okay. A lot of it we've already done over the course of this thing, and Lauren and I have been active in my defense, right? Since the very beginning. I mean, Lauren was, Lauren came along about 7 days after I got arrested, right? And and she offered to help me at first, and I told her no, because I thought they were going to realize they made a mistake, and then they were just going to let it go, right? But no, but of course, a couple months later, that's not happening, right? But without Lauren, I mean, everybody, and I really get offended when people chalk her up to money. It really actually offends, because she spent thousands of hours, man, going over videos, going over. I mean, Lord knows, man, she's the one who actually, went and cross-referenced all the phone numbers to see who was actually talking to who. I mean, literally, she did an amazing amount of work.
Yeah.
Right.
You can tell how much Laura knows about this.
Yeah,
I know
she's very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
I bet
a lot more.
Yep.
Lauren, does it bother you when they use names like CrossFit millionaire, or it seems like there's a very negative connotation about you in the media? And
yeah, there has been, and it doesn't bother me. I have very thick skin. I've been through being put down in the media before with my divorce with my first husband, and it doesn't bother me. And I mean, like, the whole reason that I did get involved is because, and not just at the beginning, Ty was my friend and I cared about him, and maybe it's a thing from growing up in Philadelphia where corruption is rampant.
Yeah.
I really was concerned he got caught up in being railroaded in this podunk southern place. And, you know, when I saw that he was, after seeing the discovery, seeing interviews like the one we're watching with Travis, that just were disgusting, I felt like I didn't have a choice but to help him, because I did have the time and I did have the means, and I don't want to see this happening to other people. And maybe it's, you know, and it's like a long shot, maybe he and I can make a difference by standing up to the system, you know. And oh God, that's been, you know, a lot more challenging than I think either of us anticipated. But it, you know, so
and
the
she
thing
fell in love with me because I'm cute.
Of course.
No, it doesn't bother me what people say. It bothered me when the prosecution tried to slander me in court, though.
Right.
Sure.
So that was unacceptable.
Oh yeah.
Buying off a witness with no substantiation. They accused me of paying for Paula's vacation to California, and I don't think I even talked to Paula at that point in our relationship. You know, I mean, why would that's how we?
Not only that, the judge told the prosecutor that was a no-go when I was on the stand and he first started trying to do that. I objected to it. We go up the sidebar, and even the judge, man, you know, for all the problems I've had with him, even he was like, "Nope, that's unacceptable. You know, you can't just throw that out there without, you know, any kind of evidence, you know, that kind of thing." And so he does it during his close, and I object to it, right? But then judge doesn't do anything, right? So it's like, but there's what's worse is, okay, there were 2 lies told in that closing argument, you know, 2 big ones. That was one of them.
Yep.
And we know for a fact now that at least 2 jurors bought that crap, you know what I'm saying, and thought that she had actually bribed Paula to testify, you know. And it's like, you know, so, you know, telling lies to the jury.
Did you say the judge overruled the objection?
He didn't overrule it. He just didn't say anything, right? I objected to it, and man, I didn't hear him say a thing, right? And the prosecutor just kept on going, and man, just put it out there, right? Okay. And the other one was the blood on the knife thing, which I actually came and proved that was a lie, and the judge let the jury go back there with that lie too, you know. So I'm surprised I didn't get convicted, you know. Like,
I mean, we've seen time and time again that juries, like, even if they are told to like strike something from the record, you didn't hear that, like, they're humans, right? They hear it.
Yeah, but I gave him an option when I showed him that video. I showed him the video of me being interrogated when they tell me where the blood on the knife came from, right? Yeah. And so they knew that as well as I did, because we got the tape from them, right? Yeah. So man, as soon as I put it in front of the judge, he knows, man, the jury, man, you know, because they were like, oh, the most compelling piece of evidence in the entire case is, you know, the blood on this knife. And, you know, how could he have known? We didn't even have DNA for 6 months, 8 months, whatever it was, right? How could he have known that it was Matt's blood? You know, well, you know, they knew damn well how I knew, right? Now, you know, some people made the mistake of thinking I was trying to get evidence into the case after it was already the close of evidence. But no, this is, man, okay, I'm bringing proof to the judge that, man, they just committed fraud on the court. That's what that's called. You can't lie to the court. You can't lie to the jury. You know what I'm saying? And they knew it, right? So, man, I go ahead and I show the tape to the judge, right? And I gave him 2 options. And this is what my lawyer told me to do, right? Give him these options. He was like, either they can, he can either allow the jury, to take that tape back there so they can see what happened, or, which would have really killed the prosecution's case, right? Because now they're liars, right? Yeah. Or, man, he could give a judicial instruction just saying, look, there is another possibility as to how Mr. Tucker could have known that information. Right. It's come to light. It's just that, there's another way he could have known. Right. That would have set the playing field at fair again, somewhere at least close to fair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, he decides, man, to just let him go back there with the lie and let them deliberate with this lie that, man, somehow, I had to have known because I had to be there, and they're going to go back there and deliberate on that when I have a life sentence I'm facing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was uncalled for all the way around.
Guys, do you want to keep watching the interrogation, or should we just ask questions to our lovely guests? Chat, what do you think?
I would like to actually, I would like to go back to that article you were talking about with Detective Pictures Depot for just 1 second. This might bring up some questions, and it might actually answer some. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, because I actually contacted the sheriff's department 2 days ago about this, right? And I said about 3 months ago. 3 months ago, I contacted Internal Affairs, and I told them, that there were things that weren't answered in the investigation, the IA investigations, right? That need to be answered, right? And one of them was one of the ones that came out in this deposition, right? Now, if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see my interview. My interview is worthless to a jury, pretty much.
Yes.
Because it's been chopped up into like 80 pieces. It's got time that's been edited out. It's literally, it's literally been chopped all to hell.
Okay, I was just looking at your YouTube page, and I noticed there was like multiple videos of your interrogation.
68. They cut up.
That was actually us attempting to try and put it back together, but we, and you can't because there's chunks missing, right?
They can't just.
And it's like literally. Okay, it's not hard.
Did a pretty good job of it. Ty, Crime Circus did a pretty good job of piecing together your.
I was about to say, Crime Circus did it, which is great. They did a good job. Okay. But there is still time missing from it, and there's chunks that are missing. I mean, they even know that, right? But okay, but they did the best job you possibly could putting it back together. I gotta admit, it actually flows. It's not, that kind of stuff. But they did okay. But here's the thing: that's not the only video problem we had. We had videos that went missing, just disappeared. Then we had, videos that were chopped up and edited, right? And man, that should never happen. It should never happen, right? I mean, this is evidence in a homicide case. You can't have this, right? And people want to know why I don't have it, my alibi. Well, that's because the Tom Thumb video, 3 different copies of that, man, and they don't know what happened to any of them or where, who took it and any of that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so here's the thing: is during Pitcher's deposition, which is where this comes from, this whole story, right?
Right.
During his deposition, he gets asked, do you know who? We know what happened. We know things got edited, things got deleted. Do you know who did it? How'd that happen, right? And
I have
his
the
answer is
deposition
this.
also.
Here's the answer he gives, and this is why they shut us up, and this is why, man, again, a big reason why I'm sure they're trying to convict me. Okay, his answer is this. Okay, somewheres, man, he gives Colleen Dunn, who's the prosecutor, right, gives her his code to access all the raw digital evidence that's in the case that's being held at the sheriff's department. Right now, if you know anything about chain of custody, chain of custody is the police department holds on to the actual raw copies of everything, right, and raw evidence, whatever it is, right, and then they give copies to the prosecution. Just in case, because if there's a claim of tampering, if you say somebody's tampered with something, well, they can compare the originals to what the state attorneys have, right, and see see if something's been tampered with, right. Well, okay, so he gives his code, which is the lead detective, right, gives his code to the prosecutor. So now she has access to all the raw digital evidence in the case, right, and we know things got deleted and edited and all that other stuff, right. He says. He thinks she doesn't have the ability to edit or delete things, right? And but here's the kicker. Guess what? It's not just good for my case. It's good for every case in the county. And not only is it good for every case in the county, we have text messages showing that it got passed around the entire state attorney's office. Now, as a lead detective, does it make sense that, man, he's not able to put things into the case file and take things out of the case file? Kind of makes sense to me. So I actually, man, hit him up with that, man, recently. I hit the lieutenant colonel up and I asked him, I was like, look, your IT people can answer this question very easily. They know whose code was used to access it. They know who deleted files. They know who, man, actually accessed these things. They can also tell where it came from, who accessed it from where. Did it come from the state attorney's office, or was it accessed, man, locally at the sheriff's department, right? They can tell us all that. So, man, by you guys refusing to investigate, I'm obviously I was like this. I was giving him a chance to verify that you're refusing to investigate before I go to another agency and have them investigate it for you. Because this needs to be answered, right? Because I mean, look, a lot of things that could have proven me innocent. No, the cops, man, they disappeared. Or like again, Phelps, man, ordering the forensics guy not to do a forensic search on the truck. Okay, you have a lot of true crime buffs out there. When do you ever hear them say, "Don't do a forensic search on a vehicle that's been used in a homicide"? But if you don't find my DNA in there, well, guess what? That means I wasn't in the truck. And what happens?
Generally, it doesn't.
Well, what happens if you don't find my DNA in there, but you find Matt and Paula's DNA in there? Well, that means, man, Travis wasn't the getaway driver. You know what I mean?
No,
it's
absolutely.
Like, it's ridiculous, but this one, the reason I bring this up, and man, I hope it puts some pressure on these guys because, man, here's the deal. Is okay, that means they've been able to manipulate the raw digital evidence, audio, video, man, documents, any of that stuff for every case in the county for about 2 or 3 years before he gives this deposition. That's thousands of cases. That's people who can be sitting, again, some of your people who are sitting there for life. Yeah, that's some of them too. That's why I said, I know it's not just me, So
I have a very strange feeling that nothing's going to be found.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, man, the thing is like I said, the IT people, man, they can go ahead, man, they can answer those questions pretty easily,
Oh, they
and, man,
can.
Since,
they can
and since
find
Detective
it.
Pitcher,
Will they put
man,
any
he can answer those
IT people
questions too.
on this case, though? Will they actually go looking for it? That's the thing.
Oh, no. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. We'll see. I mean, enough pressure, they're going to have to come up with something, aren't they? Lord knows. I mean, they have a whole, they have a whole file on Phelps and Malone. Was it the same lieutenant colonel? Did an investigation on them, right? After what, in 2019, right? 2019. Never tells us about it. They never tell us about any of this, right? But Malone, she gets tagged, like I said during the trial. I was like, 11 out of her 17 cases were insufficiently investigated, is what it came back as, right? That's insane. And what he said, and what they wouldn't let me say at trial, and I'll read off that paper, is it said somebody with that kind of a ratio has no business being a major crimes detective.
No.
But then apparently Phelps also threatened her bosses because, man, that they were saying that was another reason why she got terminated that never came out.
Because she threatened her bosses.
Yeah, right, she actually threatened to expose them for all the under-investigated, investigations that were out there, all the crappy investigations. She was going to actually out them to the press.
Wow. So basically, you need a computer forensics person to go in. And
except for, man, they won't give us access. I mean, they're not going to allow us access to that.
As if they're going to give you access.
Huh?
They're not going to give. Of course, they're not going to give you access.
No, but here's the thing: is who they will give access to? Who actually already did accept my complaint? The Department of Justice. They won't have choice. They'll take the computers out of there and take them away from them. So let's see him say no to that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong. I don't know what they're doing. They don't tell me, but at the same time, I'm sure they're kind of catching what's going on the media and, what's going on out there.
Well, that's a win. Yeah, that is a win. Good. And it's not just for you also either. No. It's for everybody else.
Thousands of people per year, probably.
Thousands of people. Great job. Wow. Okay.
Because we'll find out.
That needed to happen. That absolutely needed to happen.
Well, and that's actually why I felt like I needed to say something, because that was actually recent. You're the first media interview I've done since I actually sent that email to the lieutenant colonel. And, all he did was have, man, his public information person send me copies of the IR reports that we already have. And it's like, okay, so I guess that's his answer, which means, okay, fine. Right, well, I'll just go again. I'm sure somebody else will help us find out that information.
We'll clip that part and share that out, because that's really important work that you've done. Congratulations. And I feel that there are other people who probably have been wrongfully convicted or just even charged. Who knows what's going to come out of this. But
and the thing is okay, if I get convicted, that's the thing. I get convicted, nobody believes me because now I'm a murderer, right? Nobody wants to, man, nobody believes anything comes out of your mouth when you're a murderer,
Look,
but
I mean,
if it wasn't for
the
that
thing
woman
about it
sitting
is-
right there, it's like, I mean, I would have been another statistic just like the people we're talking about.
Look, and unfortunately, Ty, there are already people, I'm sure you know this, who think
Yeah.
you're guilty.
Yeah, I know.
You're already.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
already.
I've said since the beginning, there always will be. There are people. Once you get hit with something like this, it doesn't matter what the verdict says. There's going to be. Oh, I know. Look at his eyes. He's a killer.
Look at his eyes. Look at
there's always
the
going to
way
be those people.
he does this or whatever it is. There's the body language experts. Has anyone done the body language analysis on you yet? Sure, they did.
Oh, what? Oh, body
Have you
language
seen any?
analysis.
I haven't seen
No,
it.
not really.
Have you-
Nobody's ever really done that, but I mean, there are people, man, there are people who think, man, all kinds of things. Like one of the problems I do have, and I will admit this freely and admit this all day, is, first off, I haven't really dealt with many people in 6 years, right? So my social skills have kind of gone downhill. The other thing is, I am very, and I'm sure it's coming out now, I am very angry about all of it, right? Not just about what they've done to me, what they've done to other people, because you can see how upset you guys are getting, man. And man, look, I've dealt with this for 6 years, so is she, right? Yeah. It's like, to say that I'm not angry, that would be a lie all day, but it's hard because, in front of that jury, I can't show anger. No. I'm saying I can't show that how disgusted I am with these people, right? And so, man, people think I'm disrespecting the judge. There's a good reason for that, because, he's got his problems too. And the thing is, but the problem is I can't show that in front of the jury. No. And it comes off as arrogance. It comes off as, as flippant or whatever. It comes off as a lot of things. And it's like, but the problem is like, it's hard for me to hide that. It's hard to hide that, from anybody. Right. So, I try and do my best, but it doesn't always work out that way.
And that's the thing. And the only thing I wanted to say to you, Ty, and I obviously you're going to be, obviously you're a really strong character. You're going to do whatever the hell you want. Now, the only thing I wanted to say to you regarding your stance as a pro se defendant is obviously, I've seen a few pro se defendants. I'm just a trial watcher, and you've done incredibly well. The thing about it is, even if you are a criminal lawyer and you are trained one, and you go up there, and it's your own case and your own life on the line, right. I feel that the emotion in that moment is going to cause you to potentially show things that you might not want to show in front of the jury. That's all. Yeah. Right. So that's my only concern for you, is that.
Oh no, there's a lot of concerns. Don't get me wrong. Let's be real here. I mean, there's a lot of concerns.
There's lots of concerns. There's heaps of concerns, right? So. Don't get me wrong.
Human to here's human, why I made that decision. Actually, I should say Lauren and I made the decision because we talked about this, right?
Sure.
And look, the reason we did it is because look, we've known the judge. He's got his issues as far as being dirty since 2019, right? We've known about that long, right? And everything we did in this case with our lawyers was trying to avoid ending up right where we ended up. Right? Because we knew there was no way they could win there. You're not going to win with a dirty judge. I don't care how good your lawyer is. He's not going to win. You know what I'm saying? The judge controls the arena. He literally, decides what evidence gets seen, what evidence get heard, what doesn't, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what objections get sustained, what gets overruled. I mean, literally, he controls the jury instructions. He controls the entire thing. So it's like having a rep that's paid off. How the hell do you plan on winning if you're a lawyer? Because, man, the thing is a lawyer, man, has to worry about their license. They have to worry about their career. If they try and take a shot at the judge, guess what? Yeah. You get sanctioned.
You're right about that.
You lose your license. Right? So, they can't do the same things I could. Right? Okay. Literally, by going pro se, it did one thing, was bring the cameras, which, man, thank God for that, because man, it has all these people out there who actually got to see what's going on, right? That's one thing. And it also, the idea behind that was keeping him in check, so man, he doesn't do as many dirty things, because he actually couldn't help himself even with that. But the bottom line is yes, man, freaking, it's supposed to help keep him in check, so that, man, at least have somewhat of a fair shot, The other thing with that was also, okay, they can't take pot shots at the judge like I can, right? Because, okay, I don't care if I get disbarred. Disbar me. I don't care. It's not my career. I don't really care. So like when I did my JOA, look, I knew I wasn't arguing a JOA properly. I know that.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
I knew that, but man, here's the thing is, okay, I knew he wasn't going to give it to me, right? So man, why waste the opportunity? Okay, you want to know why I deserve an acquittal? Well, let's go over your misconduct in this here, Your Honor. Let's go ahead and talk about what you did and why I shouldn't be here in the first place.
That was something at the time that was like my one, or there was a few things that mistakes you might have made or done better. And I was really confused because you weren't really arguing why you should get a JOA. You were just kind of just going off,
putting them on blast. Literally putting them on blast.
Okay, fair enough.
That made the judge growl.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, I mean, I caught him like a deer in headlights for a second, and he actually lied. And they actually opened the door for a dismissal, a dismissal anyway, because he gets up there. When I caught him for a second, when I'm sitting there going, okay, we have 3 officers who all admitted to setting me up with a snitch in man jail, right, which violates 4 of my constitutional amendments, including the right to due process. And man, the Florida, Constitution says you must dismiss the case if due process has been violated. I shouldn't be standing in front of these 12 people. You want to know why I should be acquitted? There you go. So anyway, but when I did that, actually the morning I did that, because I actually decided that morning, I actually wrote out a real JOA the night before, right? But then I decided that morning, I go to Lauren, I'm like, I'm about to do something really brave or really stupid. You know what I'm saying? So, and she's like, oh God, and I'm like, I'll tell you about it later, baby. Or actually, you'll probably see it, so.
Interesting. Okay. So that was intentional.
Yes.
Yeah. Cause I mean, it was like, look, why waste the opportunity? If I'm not going to get it anyway, I might as well put the dirt that, man, literally I'm hoping all these people are going to see out there, man, for people to see, it's like, look,
and it wasn't in front of the jury. So
no, and that's exactly it. It wasn't in front of the jury. That was the whole reason I did it, is because, man, it's like, it's not in front of the jury. I'm not going to look bad and, kind of, tossing this at the judge.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, I had to take the opportunities where I could. And man, if you notice, when I did that whole thing, I'm sitting there I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, Your Honor.
You were,
and I'm trying to keep my voice low. I'm trying not to raise my voice, because I'm afraid of a contempt charge is what I'm afraid of. Right.
Yeah.
Because, man, okay, he could,
he would have too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he wanted to, but man, that's why I had to keep it on,
make sure you were there early and
right.
How
but the
far
bottom
away was
line
the
is, if he
courthouse?
does that, I go to that jail, man, I've got a big problem,
Yeah.
So
with your case, how far was the courthouse from where you were?
Excuse me?
How far was the courthouse from where you lived?
From where I was?
Yeah.
As far as my hotel, or man, as far as
Oh, you were staying at a hotel?
Literally, it's like, okay, it's the other side of the island is where the hotel I was. I was up in Newtown, and man, it's an old town. It's really not that far, but one of the things I realized about
Uber,
like everybody gave me, criticized me for being late, right? And man, look, I was actually trying. I was trying, right? But here's this goes back to the whole thing, and now Lauren and I talked about it later. Look, 6 years. 6 years. I haven't had to be on time anywhere, really. I mean, to be to a hearing before that, all I had to do was roll over and grab my laptop, or grab the phone, so I have my time management skills.
I tried to explain to Ty that gave the rest of us heart attacks.
Well, it definitely gave her a heart attack every morning. She's calling me up. Are you on your way to court? You better be on your way to court. So,
Lauren.
and look, Lauren, look, she helped me out so much during this whole thing. It's not even funny. But the thing is like, again, you know, because I thought about it, I didn't even realize it till later. I was like, you know, I thought about it because I was mad at myself. I'm like sitting there going, I'm like, you know, I really tried to leave extra time and, you know, tried to make it so that I would be there on time. Right. And yet I'm still ending up late. I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with me? Right. And man, but then I thought about it. I was like, wait a second, 6 years, I haven't had to be on time anywhere. And, you know, again, same thing with people. It's like, I understand, you know, my mannerisms and stuff like that. You know, they're, you know, it's like my social skills have definitely declined. I'm just not used to, not used to people anymore.
It's still pretty lovely today, I gotta say.
Yes.
Like, here's the thing: people misjudge, and it's interesting. It's like you see someone in one situation, and that was a really high stress situation.
No, not at all.
Come on.
Hardest thing I've ever done.
No, you're kidding.
I know. I can't imagine.
Imagine being in that situation. And because we watch a lot of trials here, and we see like I have a stream I run on Sundays. It's called Hearsay for Days, and I get all of the social media, and like we talk about. I show what all the comments are from all the comment sections about the trials, right? And generally, it's about the defendants. And we see what the different people are saying on like Twitter and on TikTok and on the law and crime chats and all the things. And the kind of things people say are pretty horrible.
The law and
it's
crime
pretty bad.
Is terrible.
Oh God,
law and crime it's pretty bad.
I'll tell you what, everybody thought,
you're getting
you know, they were
the
talking
worst
about
time of your life.
Well, they were talking about on court TV, and you know, like, okay, you know, Mr. Cool, and man, you're the calmest man murder defendant we've ever seen, and all this other crap, right? And I'll tell you what, ask Lauren about this one, because man, she hasn't gotten a chance to talk, you know, really. And you know, ask her about, man, when, you know, the judge nuked off my entire defense and tried to make me go to close. You know, that night, I swear to God, I could barely talk. I was crying, literally crying in my hotel room all night. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought the next day I was walking into a firing squad. I literally did.
Yeah.
I thought, man, you know, I even told her, I was like, baby, you know,
that pissed me off.
I'm like, look, I'm like, don't feel bad. I did what I wanted to do, you know.
Why did the judge not give him a little bit of time?
I mean, normally judges do give a little leniency to a pro se defendant.
Usually, yeah.
They need to for appeal. Now, what was the reason that because there was like a miscommunication between you two?
The subpoenas ran out. Like he had filed, so
that's it? That's it?
Yeah, basically.
Well, that was okay. There was a few different things. First off, he nuked off the motion to suppress that I've been trying to get in 5 different ways. My lawyers told me to get it in, right? And I've been trying to get, man, that Travis filed a motion to suppress that literally should have been admitted, right? But man, what he said in that motion was that everything he said on that stand was a lie, right? That had been coerced by prosecutors, coerced by the investigators, right? So he says that in this motion to suppress, and the judge kept it out. He kept on, again, I mean, okay, he tried to say, oh, well, that's going to be, it's going to violate attorney-client privilege. No, it doesn't. It's a public document. It's filed with the court.
Yeah, but Ty, I think what's important is that you were trying to get Seth LeVay and Todd O'Quinn, and you went to the judge saying, hey, these people can't be here. Can we do it by Zoom? Can we do it this way? Like, and they were just like, you don't have them lined up. You don't have them lined up. The subpoena's expired. Screw you. Yep. I mean, and
how long
that was
ago did they expire?
That day.
And here's the thing: it's not only that they do stuff like, man, they moved Todd O'Quinn to a different, different prison. It took me a second to even figure out where he's at.
He did file a subpoena. I mean, did you? I mean, I think he did file a subpoena for Todd, and then and he's like, I don't know how to get Todd down here, and he was like, that's your problem.
Well, no, I said I deferred to the court, right? Because I didn't know whether or not you wanted. Do you want to issue me a transport order, or do you want to do it via Zoom?
And he was like, there will be none. The judge said there will not. There's no time for this. You're wasting the juror's time, my time, court's time. There will be no Todd O'Quinn.
Right, except for, man, okay, in real courts, you can ask for a continuance to get a man star witness like that to come down there, right? Straight up. I mean, this guy, man, he's a victim. He says, again, 100% sure it wasn't me. He actually picks Travis out of a lineup. You know what I'm saying? As the guy he saw running from the house. I mean, but no, I can't have him as a witness because you won't. He's 5 hours away. All you have to do is
5
mail
hours?
official transport order.
Yeah.
Wait, they moved him
You know what I'm
5
saying?
hours away?
Well,
5
no,
hours
he
away.
was he was around. He was not close before. Whatever prison he was before, they were both.
But he was
in.
moved further or just
It was different.
No, he just
Okay.
moved to a different one. So I didn't know which
Okay,
one he was
so-
at. So I had to figure that out.
Wow.
that's infuriating.
Yeah. So I mean,
Goodness
don't get me
me.
wrong. I mean, all that, when he did all that and he's going to push me right to close, all the only testimony I had was Paula, right?
And it was
from
stricken,
her,
or you
from
had the
her
deposition.
perpetuated testimony from the video, right? Because we had that whole mess with and I was messed up over that too, because, okay, at that
Poor
point,
woman.
okay, when Paula went up there to testify, right? And we set all that up, right? I mean, okay, everything was fine at
heartbreaking.
12:30 when we checked the system. Everything's fine. Paula's lucid. Everything's cool, right? We go
My
back to do
condolences,
it for
by the way.
real.
Yeah.
Huh?
My
Condolences.
condolences, by the way.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. My
Oh,
condolences,
and
by the
actually,
way.
Becca actually said something earlier. I don't know if you caught me, but I was like, thank you. And it's like, man, because she put up there, I'm really, she's super pissed over Paula. And man, a lot of people were. I mean, how retarded is that, man? I'm up there, literally, I'm the accused killer, and I'm sitting there arguing with the judge and arguing with the prosecutors, victims' rights, and how she has a constitutional right to testify at this trial. Right? We have to make every reasonable accommodation. That's what the law says.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then he goes ahead and tells me he doesn't care, even if he gets a doctor's note that she's dying, he's not going to, go ahead and bump order, so that, so she gets the ability to testify. And I mean, how ridiculous is that?
You tried.
And I'm arguing to allow the victim to testify. When does that ever happen?
You tried to get her to testify days earlier.
I know.
During the
She was
prosecutor's
declining-
case.
He was declining quickly.
I know.
Daryl Brooks
Yeah.
got a chance. Daryl Brooks got a chance to have a witness come in during the state's
Yeah.
case for
No,
convenience.
I was told by my lawyers that, man, they do that for
Not
vacations, much less somebody dying. And
Not
especially
comparing
if
him
Yeah.
to him, but it's like
No.
this happens all the time.
that's what my lawyer said too.
It happens.
Also, the judge tried to fight us to preserve her testimony to begin with. We had to
That
fight
is
for
true,
that.
too. Yep.
Did he preserve what she said?
Eventually, but he was fighting it.
I
Well,
mean,
not only that, he seemed disgusted at the fact that she actually lived longer than she was supposed to. Oh, well, we've been hearing this for years, that kind of. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad she lived for those few extra years. It's like,
I got the impression that she was staying alive to fight for you.
She was.
To be able to testify.
She was. She literally
you want me to tell you
was.
what she used to tell me?
What?
She used to tell me that, man, she thought God was keeping her alive to see me go free. That's what she told me.
He told me the same thing.
And I'm
Because
to be honest,
why? She felt guilty. She felt guilty because, and this is horrible. She's this victim. She's deathly ill, and she felt horrible for what Ty has had to go through, and she felt somewhat culpable for what the cops did to him. And it was so sad. It's like, Paula, nobody blames you for that. The cops are, dirty. You didn't do anything wrong.
She tried.
no,
so
and
hard.
then they almost talked her into believing the bullshit too. But the thing is, I mean, they did. They tried.
Oh,
You
God.
know what I mean? But here's the thing: is, man, no, Paula was amazing in a lot of ways. I mean, she did the right thing. That was the thing.
Was,
And
hey,
man, anybody out
really
there,
was.
it made me
She
sick
went
what
out
the
of her way to
prosecutors
do
were
the
saying.
right thing.
It really did. They're trying to make her out to be just some crackhead, man. Like she deserved it. Like somebody deserves to have their throat slit just because, man, what, because of where they live or, man, whatever
Demons
crap
they have.
No, and Paula is like 90 pounds soaking wet, right? Rory
Yeah.
is how big? Almost 300 pounds. I mean, huge man. And when I picture that in my head, right, and I pictured it for a few years now. It's like you got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and man, then they, she gets in there, and man, then these guys have the nerve when they announce the retrial. They say that they're doing it for the justice of the victims. They're doing it for Paula's justice. And Matt, did you ever hear Matt's name being brought up in that trial except by me?
So
You know
bizarre.
what I'm saying?
No.
'Cause I
Justice
forgot
for a
what he
victim
said.
who says you weren't her. You weren't
Well,
wrong.
I'll
by
tell you
her.
right now, man. I remember what the prosecutor had to say about Matt in Rory's trial in his closing arguments. You know, this, oh God, because I can't stand him at this point, right? But okay, that man had the nerve to sit there and go, he's like, well, was Matt going upstairs to help or was he going up there to buy drugs? We'll never know, right? That's what he says in his closing argument, right? And it's like, okay, that man has a family. He's already been murdered, right? Why the hell do you need to do that? You know, why do you need to, man, knock the man down, man, in your closing argument? You know what I'm saying? Why do you, need to talk trash about him, man? He's got family out there. They don't need to hear that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And
it's like, nothing to prove his case.
And so you wonder why I'm so angry. It's like
no, we don't wonder.
Like,
well, we don't wonder. But there are people out there who are just like, oh, he's this, he's that. The amount of times that like I went through the chats and it was just like narcissist.
Oh,
That was their favorite word.
Oh yes.
I saw that one.
It was very hard to
because
avoid that word.
Everybody hated me at the very beginning, right? Here comes another Daryl Brooks is what I saw. I can't wait to watch this one crash and burn. All kinds of
that was my opinion at first too. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. And then I saw the closing statement or opening statement.
Look, I don't blame people.
What did you say, Dolly? When you heard the opening statements,
you did better than when you did the opening statement. I thought you did better than the prosecutor.
For sure.
Well, thank you.
I'm just like, this guy isn't as crazy as I thought he's going to be.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself there.
Well, maybe a little strange and stubborn, but
And no, it was just like, look, I mean, we didn't do this just because, man, like, okay, let's just be crazy, or I think I'm smarter than my lawyers, or that I want to get on TV because I think I'm cool, right? That wasn't it at all. It just was our best option given the circumstances we had. It's like, okay.
Ty, the other thing about you going pro se is, and this is one of the things I told you where we discussed is, and I felt very strongly, is that even though Ty's not a lawyer, there's nobody that can tell his story like he can. And he's a very good he's not a perfect communicator, but he is a good you feel truth from his words, especially when he's talking about this case. And
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I really thought that was going to be it was either going to make or break him, his personality, but I thought like I've seen people's reaction to him telling his story and talking about this, and people are floored and they believe him and they feel they get it once he talks. And I really felt, because juries are a crapshoot, you could have a great attorney. We could have spent another $500,000 plus on attorneys and still something weird. The jurors will say, oh, guilty. Yeah. I thought one of his only chances was to be himself in front of that jury. And that's what he got to do. And he did it, for better or for worse. There were mistakes, but at the end of the day, I think, like you said, Dolly, like that opening statement, he came off strong and compelling. And I really think that was the strongest thing that nobody could understand until seeing this trial happen,
Exactly. I mean, some of the channels continue to just portray Ty and the case as being this shit show, basically. But a lot of it amazed me. It amazed me. Sorry, I'll continue. I'll just finish that. And it amazed me, though, that it continued to turn, though. The general wave of opinion continued to just start to turn towards Ty. And in the end, I couldn't believe it, though. Like, in the end, it was pretty split, even over on the Law and Crime Court TV.
She was actually telling me the polls, man, while I'm waiting and all that stuff. She's like going.
I didn't tell you the Law and Crime polls because that was not good. But
oh, really? Yeah.
Well, okay, but Law and Crime still has Ted Lund up there, man, talking all that crap, man, on his too. So.
Yeah.
But I think,
Sorry, Dolly, what were you saying?
I think what turned the tide for a lot of people was the state's case. When it got to the end of the day, and there was seriously, you got this guy Travis, and what else? And that's what I heard in the chats over many channels is like, I don't like Ty. He's a narcissist. He probably has done things bad in his past, but the state hasn't proved their case. Yeah. Not even close. Yeah. They just don't have anything. And
look, look, I told Lauren this one time, man. This is way back when we had press, man, covering our marriage and all that other stuff. I was like, you know what? I don't care, man. They can go ahead and call me Charlie Manson if they want to, as long as they're keeping their eyes on these people. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what actually is happening, seeing the same things we do, you know, the same things and now we've had to see it for 6 years. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, you know, but I mean, I even said this in, you know, a statement not too long ago I made. I'm like, look, you know, straight up, if you guys are the good guys, guess what? The good guys don't have to lie to the jury. You don't get to be justice. You don't get to be the good guys if you have to lie in your case. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. Because you can say I'm a horrible lawyer. You can say I'm a narcissist. You can say, man, whatever the hell you want to say. But I didn't have to lie to the jury, you know, and I still don't. Right. I mean, and the thing is, and I won't. That's as simple as it gets. You know, I mean, look, and Mansfield had his shot at me. That was one of my favorite points of the whole trial. Right. And because I really wasn't going to take the stand. I wasn't planning on it.
Yes, I
figured,
that.
man, you know, they get to hear me all trial. You know, I mean, look, they're going to know my point of view, whatever, right? But when Mansfield, man, had his shot at me, everybody's like, oh, here it comes, man. You know, prosecutor's wet dream, man. You've got a pro se defendant up there, man, defenseless, man. You got a prosecutor. He's got him up there. You know, this is it, man. That's why the judge let me do it in the first place. He thought I was going to tank.
And
you know,
the thing
and it's you know, look, man, you know, we went through this once in the civil case. I had already taken the stand one time, and her little weasel lawyer. And man, I'm saying that as my opinion, so we don't get sued again, baby.
Again,
you know? But
prosecutor's wet dream.
His little weasel, you know, her little weasel lawyer, right, got up there, and man, I'm okay. You know, again, everybody's thinking I'm a plead the fifth or some kind of crap like that, right? No, you know, no. This guy, man, asked me maybe 10 questions, right? Goes back, talks to Phelps because she can't even face me. She can't even look at me in the eyes, right? And then, man, comes back, asks me maybe 4 more questions, and then runs. You know, just runs, tail between his legs. You know, it's because, man, look, you can ask me whatever you want. The truth is pretty easy for me to remember. And not only is the truth easy for me to remember, but I haven't forgotten a single thing that these people have done.
Yeah.
You know? So I just kept throwing it right back at him and his client. You know, you want to talk about, you know, what's happened here? Oh, we can talk all day. I got plenty of it. You know, I can tell you over 100 things she did wrong in this whole thing. You know,
I just love, like, the judge screwed up so bad when he didn't give you the quality about like he had to tell you that you have a right to testify and everything. Yeah. And he really didn't when he ended the case.
Right.
So he just set up all these appeal points, but then you decide, well, I'm going to take the stand. Right. You were kind of forced to, I guess, but then you did. Yeah. It was so strange and amazing. Yeah. But
no, the reason he did that, you know, the reason why he did that, because they came back with that rebuttal. That's what saved my behind, is them trying to rebuttal, rebuttal Paula, right? And they're going to go ahead and put some of my words apparently in as hearsay testimony by putting in this deposition, right? The one that they wanted to get for the whole knife thing, right? Anyway, so I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to put my words in there, hearsay, then I might as well just take the stand, you know, and we'll clear this up right now, you know? And so, man, you know, the judge heard that and he's like, you want to take the stand? He's like, oh, we can go ahead and open up the defense again for that, you know, because he's thinking I'm going to tank, right? You know, he's thinking that, you know, somehow Mansfield is going to go ahead and twist me up, or he's going to go ahead and, you know, make me, he's going to be able to impeach me or something like that, right? And no, it's like, look, I wasn't scared to take the stand because, look, I don't have to worry about taking the stand. You know, it's like, look, you can ask me anything you want. It's going to be, and he even corroborated my story, man, by saying, oh, is this the same story you gave, you know, the investigator 6 years ago? Yeah, it's the exact same story I said 6 years ago. Huh. You know, imagine that. You know?
First of all, go ahead.
Sorry, I said, didn't you file a motion against the judge first?
Well, not necessarily, not against the judge, but the one that, man, everybody loves is the letter I wrote him in 2019. It's a letter that, man, you know, look, if you don't know the context of that letter, I sound insane. I mean, I straight up sound insane. Right. You know, because I mean, I'm literally putting in there, you know, you're a criminal, you're, you know, part of a bigger criminal organization, you know, but you know what, guess what? This is America and I ain't afraid of you and I'm not afraid of any of you. And I'll keep, you know, while you'll probably never be prosecuted for your crimes, I'm still going to fight you, and I'm going to fight you, man, until, man, you can shut me up, basically. I was like, and I signed it with all the contempt you deserve, and the reason I could get away with it, because they printed one, was the last page, isn't that what it is? Printed the last page and long crime, one of their sections,
course.
right? But only the last page. Right. The
Right.
reason I got away with that, and this is, man, why I got away with saying, man, because I got away with saying that, man, he tampered with witnesses. Right. I said that live on the air more than once. Right. And the reason I got away with that, at the time, and he never said anything about that letter, never brought it up, doesn't, man, I didn't get banned for contempt, any of that kind of stuff. Right. The reason is because, man, I was holding the evidence in my hand when I wrote the letter. Right. So he knew when I was writing that letter. Oh, yeah, he knew I had the evidence in my hand, and I could prove that he tampered with a witness. Not only could I prove that he tampered with a witness, but I can also prove the prosecutor from my case was there. I could also prove that PD, a public defender who was defending Travis at the time, was defending this witness in this hearing. Because what he did is he threatened, he ordered him to leave the state, go back to Georgia, right?
Yes.
Ordered him to leave the state, and then threatened him with prison. Threatened him, with prison if he came back, right? So that's the same as putting a gun to a witness's head and saying, you better get the hell out of town or else, man, I'm going to go ahead and blow you away, right? Come back, I blow you away. Well, and man, so they do this. I get the transcript from the hearing, right? So I have all of it in black and white, right? And I could go ahead and I write it off to him. I was like, you know what, Your Honor? Let's not talk about the police's misconduct. Let's not talk about the prosecutor's misconduct. Let's talk about your misconduct. And went on, man, writing that letter.
And
two witnesses.
What's up?
Two witnesses that he.
Oh
told
yeah,
to get out.
he actually did it with two. We found out he did it with another one later, right? And we actually got the minutes from Belinda Corralis's, man, her hearing, right? But,
and you're right. Like a lawyer couldn't do that. They would get
So-
sanctioned or in trouble for that. Like, so you're right. A lawyer couldn't do that. So. Or they'd be worried about doing something like that.
Once you know the judge is dirty, that's how we knew back in 2019. It's like, okay, we know he's dirty. It's not a matter of, man, thinking it or being our opinion or, he made some bad ruling we don't like. No, this man actually, told witnesses to leave the state and, and we're going to have you thrown in prison if you come back. And this is a witness that was specifically for me. Right, this guy named Austin Odom. He's the one who knew I didn't threaten April Walker and her baby that morning. He actually knew that, right? He was there, right? So it's like, okay, so that's the guy who tells to leave, right?
Okay.
It's like,
right.
And he knew enough to go ahead and recuse himself off of that case after I wrote that letter, right? He goes ahead and disqualifies himself off the witness's case, but never disqualifies himself off of our case. So it's like,
But now
all this will be in that motion to dismiss, by the way. So y'all be able to read it all and have fun with it, man. And see probably one of the
motion to dismiss that's coming up. The
new one.
The motion to dismiss that's
that'll
coming
be
up
in there.
shortly.
I mean, literally, look. There's gonna be law enforcement, their misconduct. There's gonna be the prosecutor's misconduct and the judge's misconduct. All of it'll be there.
So Becca Lynn. Okay, so about 100 people have just shown up. Thanks to Sean over at Potentially
He's going
Criminal.
ham.
Remember
He's going
Sean?
ham live on the air.
Sorry, guys. Remember Sean from the other day? So he's just sent his audience over. So thank you, Sean, for that.
Yes.
Now, honestly, I was just going to get, I have a few questions from the audience that I was going to bring up for you, and that would be perfect timing.
Yes. Just real quick, just to ask you, Ty. So let's say you think the judge is going to give you a fair shot. He's not corrupt in your opinion, and I've seen a lot.
I'll tell you
of
what,
stuff.
I have to hope and pray that, man, he isn't corrupt and, man, he, that he is fair. You know what I'm saying?
If he is fair.
Look,
Listen to his
Lauren
question.
and I have had some discussion about this, and man, look, I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to be hopeful, and man, hope that he, hope he is honest. If he's not, then guess what? We'll go for round 2, and we'll whoop him there too.
Okay. So if he is honest, though, you would consider having a lawyer there with you, fighting for you.
Well, okay. look, I mean, a lot of people brought this up, man, you know, as far as the lawyer thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because, man, again, I still, against dirty people, man, you know, the lawyers don't do as well. But they do this, and, man, I asked for this, and, man, I was denied, right? Because a lot of people don't know this. I asked to have, you know, standby counsel. A lot of people brought that one up, right? I actually asked for that, right? I was denied. I was actually denied to the point where my advisory counsel, you know, my 2 lawyers that I've had this entire time, well, not entire time, but most of the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, the people who've been fighting for me all, you know, for years now, right? They became my advisory counsel, and they're doing that pro bono, you know, so they're actually doing that, you know, because they believe in my innocence. They believe in me.
Wow.
You know, and, man, they're doing that pro bono.
Shout out to them.
Exactly. I mean, they've done, look, they're letting me use their office. They actually had their paralegal doing work for me, all kinds of different stuff.
Damn.
Right. And they do all that. But the judge, you know, judge orders that, man, not only can I not have them act as standby counsel, which is what I wanted. Right. But not only can I do that, but they can't even sit at the table, the defense table, with me as my advisors. Right. Even if they're not going to do anything, they just sit there, man, and, you know, just, man, tell me, man, when, you know, when they think I'm messing up on procedure or something like that, you know, which, again, probably would have made that trial a lot smoother if I had them sitting right there. But
yes,
but hopefully, you know what, I actually have a motion that's going in tonight, and, man, you know, it's actually dealing with part of that. It's, you know, it's literally, I'm asking for him to reconsider, you know, the motion that allowed me to go pro se, and, you know, allow me the ability to have standby counsel, or, you know, or at least have my advisory counsel sitting at the table, you know. So we'll see, you know, see what he has to say.
Well,
you know,
well, that would be good.
Here.
That would be good. Okay, so we have some other questions. This one. Will you be able to? Dali, did you take that one away? Okay, so Gabrielle says, will you be able to get Toto Quinn for the retrial? I know he won't be in jail at that time.
Actually, you know, it's good because Toto Quinn won't be in prison. Toto Quinn is actually getting out at the end of March. End of March, I think, something like that. You know, but the bottom line is he's getting out, and he's more than happy to testify at this point. You know, they tried to. Here's another little one. You know, I don't know if you guys picked up during the trial, but they tried to kill him. You know, that, you know, I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, it's like
literally,
literally, you know, literally in this sense. Okay, I don't know, man, how much you guys know about prison, how things work there, but they go ahead and, man, when Toto Quinn goes to prison, he's going for a year. He's going there for shoplifting. It's basically what he's going for, right? So he's going to prison for a year, right? They put him on the transport with Rory Wilson, right? The guy who just got convicted, sentenced to life, man, plus 25, you know, and this guy is a witness in that case, right? Who can identify him, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they put him on transport with him, but not only that, they also put him in the same dorm when he gets to the, you know, the processing center, right? So Rory is going around telling all the other prisoners that he's a snitch, right? And, man, you know, that they need to kill him. They need to slit his throat because he's, you know, again, snitches, you know, you can't have that, right? So if Rory Wilson had any proof, right, if he had actually had like Toto Quinn on paperwork, you know, snitching, something like that, there's a good chance that man wouldn't be alive right now. You know, I mean, look, you know, there's some ugly truths in prison, right? There really are. And the South Florida Processing Center is not a nice place. There's a lot of gangbangers there. They do not like people, man, who, you know, have a tendency to run their mouth, man, you know, about things, right? But I mean, literally, if Rory had paperwork that said, man, Todd had ID'd him, Todd had done anything, that man probably wouldn't be alive now. I'll tell you the truth. It's like, man, he's not going to be alive. And is he pissed that they did that? Oh yeah, you know, he's not real happy with them. You know. You know, they put, you know, he even said in a deposition he did for us, in his deposition he did for us, yeah, he was concerned about payback from the police. He was concerned that they were actually going to do something to him. They were actually going to hurt him somehow, you know. And sure enough, you know, it's like, okay, they don't have to do it themselves. They just put him with, you know, again, who puts a witness with the killer? You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, Does that make any sense?
A victim.
Huh? Yeah,
A
well,
victim.
a victim witness. You know, actually, he did get stabbed. So a victim witness, and you're going to go ahead and put him with the killer, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, okay, I know I've said, in what world does this happen a few times during this interview, but man, again, you know, what kind of Keystone Cop crap is that? You know what I mean? You don't do that, not in the real world. You know, it's
No,
like,
absolutely not.
You know, it's like.
But yeah, we should hear from Todd in the next trial if that happens.
Thank you, baby.
That will
Wonderful.
be amazing. That
Wonderful. Good to hear.
as sad as
Okay,
it is that Paula passed, it's
y'all get me all riled up.
You get me all right up.
I'm just glad you
I feel like
others.
I need a pulpit in the Bible.
Yes, Paige. Jurors have spoken to people in the media.
Oh yes, that's actually how we got our information.
Yeah, their names are all public.
What
but
kind of
yes,
things have they said? Anything of use?
So the blue paper, the folks who's the article of the Key West newspaper that they spoke to one or two of the jurors, if not more. Last time I heard it was one or two. And that's where we learned that the state had been lying about the ratio of 11-1 towards guilty.
And then that was actually confirmed by another reporter from down there, from a different paper. And he was actually, he left it out of his article though, which was kind of,
that was annoying. But 8-4 initially, when the judge had the jurors go back and have to say, what's your weakest point, and they do their little talks, whatever.
Alan Charge.
Yeah. And then it became 9-3, which is a big difference from 11-1.
Very interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
That's a huge
that is
difference
the
between one
it's a huge difference.
stubborn guy and
So as far as everybody knows, it was 11-1. So that's the story.
No.
It was
So
11.
I put it out there.
We thought it was 11-1.
No,
and
right away.
The press picked it up. The press picked it up and ran with it. You know.
In fact, Mansfield told Ty's other not ex-attorney, but advisor, Jerry Bellarado, right there. Oh, it was 11-1 before anybody would ever known.
Right. Yeah. He didn't even have time to talk to a jury yet. You know what I mean?
It was obviously a lie.
Yes, Lefty. Yes, Lefty. It's going to be a retrial. Yeah.
Well,
sorry to interrupt. I'm just making it clear. Well,
hopefully it doesn't.
Maybe there's a motion to dismiss coming up, so maybe not. We'll see.
I've been oddly optimistic throughout all this bullshit, and
so hold on, I didn't see the question, so I have no idea.
Oh, the question is, isn't this guy being
y'all
retried?
talking about me? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I still am hopeful that somebody like this new judge is going to look at all this and go, Jesus.
As far as it stands right now, yes, they plan on retrying me. They announced it literally right after. Look, they didn't even announce
Judge
it.
Jones did. So that's the other thing. Judge Jones did. The attorneys didn't even, and I've seen that published that a few days later, very quickly. No. It was right then.
It was seconds after the mistrial.
We have to get this back in the trial back on docket, not a status hearing. We've got to get this back. I mean,
I've never seen that.
That was
they didn't even give the prosecutor time to decide.
I mean, unless
no, I mean that's the thing. He already knew the plan. You know?
Yeah, except for that.
Why is there an assumption you're going to retry? Like
it was towards guilty. DG. It was towards towards guilty.
8-4 towards guilty.
Still,
That's so different.
If you take away the jurors that they did tell us, they told us this too, that a few of those jurors, it was like 2 or 3 of those jurors bought that lie that Mansfield told about Lauren, bribing Paula, right? You take away that lie, and now we're back to, half and half.
It was more what I'm saying? So, and then there were some jurors who did not see in the video you played today, where Penny Phelps is feeding Travis the story. They didn't think that Travis was being fed a story.
Yep.
So that was something we heard, that they didn't believe he was fed.
On the plus side,
now we actually have an interrogation expert that could solve that problem. We'll see.
Yeah.
The other thing is also a point that Lauren has brought up to me, and I realized too, is PowerPoint at the close. You know, that's actually kind of important. You know, it's like
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You kind of
There's
have to
better
draw the jury a roadmap in some ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll just say that just like flat, complete PowerPoints can be a little tedious, like in my opinion. So like just have a outline and then talk about it.
I'm actually an expert in hating PowerPoints,
Okay.
understanding their value.
This is good.
I was trying to be nice. I hate them too.
I hate them, but there is a place. There is a place
There
for them.
is, yes.
And
just
thank
seen-
you, Stray. That's awesome.
I've just seen prosecutors or attorneys in general just do PowerPoints and they're just awful.
Well,
Especially
Mansfield's did. Theirs did.
Yeah.
It was like you don't make a PowerPoint with like 20 points on one page. That's like contrary to the point of a PowerPoint.
That was a graphics designer. Trust me. That was just
But because he had to
I
say the
don't do
word corroborated
PowerPoints
at least
at
50
all,
times.
actually.
You know, wasn't even using the word properly. But man, it's like, okay, it's all corroborated. It's corroborated. He corroborated his own statement.
Well,
he
that's how
corroborated his
it,
own
right?
statement.
Yeah, no, I don't do any PowerPoints. I use Canva, but I'm not a graphic designer, so mine don't look like PowerPoints. I would say don't ever use the jigsaw pieces, you know, the puzzle pieces that fit together. Oh, now the puzzles all
I'm gonna
come
do a
together.
video reenactment. That's how I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. Do it. Yes, do the dramatic readings and the
With a little cartoon tiptoeing sound effects.
cartoon tiptoeing sound. It'd be awesome.
Well, they always say, man, you got to show them, your narrative of what happened. So, it's like,
You do. And Josie's absolutely right. Too many people are wrongfully convicted. It's disgusting at this point. Yes,
Yep.
we watch it all the time. It
Yeah.
happens. I mean, we're having
Wow.
a fun stream today, and we can joke around, but this is serious.
It is.
Well,
It is
I mean-
absolutely serious, and we don't want to see you in this situation, Ty.
well, no, and
You
I don't want
don't-
to be. I never wanted to be in this. situation,
Not that you
but,
wanted to
bottom
be.
line is we had to figure that out, right? It's because, okay, look, I'm too old. I mean, just straight up, I am way too old, man, to go to prison, man, spend 30 years in prison, and then have everybody find out I'm innocent. You know what I'm saying? What, I'll be 80-something years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
a lot. The thing is okay.
My bad.
And I said this on Michael Bryant's show, right? And he's a, again, famous lawyer, whatever, I mean, there's a few, there's another lawyer on there. There's another famous lawyer, right? And here's the problem is we have a huge hole in our justice system. And most people don't realize it. They don't realize, man, that yes, they can pick anybody out. I don't care who you are, right? You can think, not me, I don't do anything wrong. Guess what? They can pick you too, right?
It can be
this is
anyone.
one of the things Lauren realized why she helped me,
Yep.
right? Because there's two things that make that possible in our system now, right? And they rely on both of them. Okay, first off, anybody who believes in a fair trial, guess what? Doesn't exist. It's a myth. It's like Santa Claus, straight up, it doesn't exist, right? And I can tell you why. Because, okay, as long as the prosecutor can bribe witnesses and the defense can't, which they shouldn't be able to, I'm not saying they should, but as long as they can do that and we can't, guess what?
Yeah.
It's innately unfair. They can come up with 20 witnesses tomorrow that said I had something to do with this. And you know what happens when that happens? Human nature takes over. And what does human nature say? If I have 20 people saying you did something, guess what they're going to say? Well, they can't all be lying. So guess what? You get convicted over that.
Well,
now, here's the other thing they'll do. All they need is probable cause to arrest you. That's all they need, right? Which is, man, okay, probable cause amounts to this. They have to know a crime's been committed, and they have to have a reasonable belief that you may have committed the crime. Then they can go ahead and arrest you, right? Okay, they arrest you. Now what do? Oh, wait, we got a plea deal system, right? Plea deal says this: I can hold you, right, in jail, incarcerate you, right? And if you don't take that plea deal, guess what? You're going to sit in jail.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep on sitting in jail. And you're going to keep on sitting in jail. And we're going to destroy and take away everything you love, everything in your life. We're going to take it all away from you. Literally, because, man, most people, the average person, 2 months in jail. That's about all it takes, right? You lose, your
That's it.
job. You know, you lose your job because most jobs ain't going to hold on to you, man, after you've been in jail 2 months.
No.
Right? You lose your place to live. You know, then you lose all your stuff. You could probably lose your family, your spouse, your kids, all that stuff in that amount of time, right? But they hold on to you not for 2 months. Hell, that's not even an open container. An open container is 6 months. You know, they'll hold on to you for years. They held on to me now. How long? 6 years.
6.
Where they took me to trial. 6 years, right? So
I think
okay,
I think you should also add to that, like the aspect of these jailhouse snitches being allowed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Well, and
jailhouse
jailhouse
snitches.
snitches.
And
They'll
that was
say
hard.
anything.
That was hard because I was trying to figure out how to protect myself from that, right? Because when you're in jail, man, they got literally all they have to do is put somebody close to you. That's it. In proximity. That's it.
Kenosha,
you know, because now it's your word versus theirs, right?
Kenosha, Wisconsin has a particular area where they send inmates who will snitch against high-profile inmates.
Well, I mean, they have first off, they've got snitches out the yin yang, right? Okay, I feel bad because you talk about wrongful convictions. I'll tell you this. I feel really bad because of something that happened in jail, right? Okay, we caught the jailhouse snitch on my case, right? I mean, they might as well put up a neon sign the day they did it because first off, we were expecting it anyway, right? Because, okay, I knew I didn't do it, right? Well, okay, I know they're prosecuting me. Guess what? That means they're going to have to come up with something. And, man, I've watched enough true crime out there, you know, like all the buffs out there. I've watched enough true crime to know that, man, prosecutors, man, they lean on the jailhouse snitch or a CI. You know, that's usually what they go for, right? If they don't have any evidence, let's get ourselves a CI. He'll say, man, he overheard it. He'll say that, man, the guy was bragging. He, you know, all that other kind of crap, right? So, they did that with my case. And like I said, they might as well put up a neon sign. And the only way I could protect myself at all, because, man, they were going to make me stay in proximity to this guy, right? When they moved me, they moved me to be with him, right? And, the only way I could protect myself is I actually called Lauren, right? And I told her what was happening. And I was like, look, baby, this is what's going to happen. In about 2 months, they're going to come up with a new witness. And this new witness is going to say I confessed or that, man, somehow he overheard me saying something or whatever. And, man, I told her why I knew, right? And, how all the reasons I knew that, right? And, sure enough, everything I said came true. And, man, the only thing I could think of was the recording. But anyway, bottom line is back to the whole plea deal thing, right? So that's the thing is, look, they've been trying to force me to take this plea deal. Look, they even offered it to me again now. They're trying to offer me a NOLO plea now, right? Just plead guilty to something so that they don't take the heat.
Of course they are.
Huh?
Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Well, here's the problem. If I don't take the plea deal, and I'm talking about everybody. This is everybody across America, not just down there. You don't take that plea deal, guess what? They'll go and get those snitches. They'll go and, man, get that CI. They'll go and, man, buy themselves some witnesses. And guess what? Now they're going to convict you. You know what I'm saying? And now you're going to be fighting on appeal, sitting there wrongfully convicted, And I watched them do it to my friend Billy. Because when we got the snitch on our case, she learned from the mistakes she made, right? They had to give him up as a witness. They didn't have a choice. We had too much evidence against him, right? We knew what he did. We had 3 officers that admitted to setting me up, right? Yeah. So, man, I mean, we knew what happened. But after I did that, or after I should say we did that, right? What do they do? My friend Billy's in there for 2nd-degree murder, right? He's in there, man, for, again, I've read every bit of his case, right? Billy Baker's his name. Read his entire case. That man was just like me. He had a lot of evidence, man, saying, that, man, first off, he had no evidence saying he did anything. Then he had evidence that actually said that, man, he was innocent, right? Yeah. Had all that. Yeah, 2 jailhouse snitches. I knew both of them. Knew both of them were lying, right? Literally they cut them deals off their time. She doubled down, got 2 of them. Didn't get ones that had contracts with the sheriff's department who had done over 50 cases testifying for somebody, right? But she gets 2 of them. Guess what? He gets convicted in less than 2 hours to life. And this is a guy I know is innocent. You know what I'm saying? I've looked at his case.
We should see if there's any questions or anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
It's just,
okay. It just don't stop me.
Wonder how this happens. And it's
they'll say anything.
Trust me.
They will say anything. Okay. Has anyone got anything else to ask before we finish up?
Yes. And while you're asking your questions, we would love to have you back again.
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
interested in.
no, yeah. I mean, anytime.
Next motion. Okay. I'm interested in
also-
the next motions hearing, particularly.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on it, maybe before or after.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And look, I mean, guys, just man, one more on that whole thing.
Yes.
Anytime you ever hear CI or jailhouse snitch mentioned in a case, should be a huge red flag. That means AKA we have no evidence. Zero.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yep.
Hugely.
In the Zachariah
Absolutely.
Anderson case, the prosecutor literally mouthed the words the same time the prison snitch, said them.
Yeah.
It was
saying the
him
words.
in his sleep said, die, die, die.
I haven't gotten to that part yet, but this Zachary case is crazy.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
I thought he was a douchebag. I'm sorry. I thought my original.
Now who's crazy, baby?
No. I mean, this is how it goes, right? You see,
the media-
this obsessed guy. It's
Obsessed stalker.
We all fall into it. As smart as we are,
You do.
But I mean, it didn't take but 3 seconds looking at what happened to go, oh.
Yeah.
There was no body, no DNA, no blood, no nothing.
Well, that sounds
Just-
familiar.
It had anything to
That
do with
They
sounds
just
real
didn't do it.
familiar.
We didn't even know the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's
Ridiculous.
insane.
It's like, man, we've gotten to
Ridiculous.
rely on that plea deal thing so much that, man, nobody even bothers to do an investigation
Yes.
anymore. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's it. Yeah. There's a podcast on it as well that explains the whole thing. So yes, and Not a Murderer is on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on this channel. We're going to be getting into the next stage of this. And what we aim to do on this stream is introduce it to people who've just never had any exposure to it at all. And you can also just watch the whole trial if you want to. There's that one too. So there's plenty of channels that have covered it. But yeah, it's the anniversary, unfortunately, now of the trial where he was convicted. So it's very sad. But yeah, we're all working to get him an appeal. Really working hard. Lots of people have donated lots and lots of money and time to it. So yes. Okay, so everybody, I think unless there's any other questions, we might finish up for now. And we're going to go and raid. I think we'll raid Miss Danny Ann Direct. She is doing yes, she is rush shooting the New Mexico versus Hannah Gutierrez trial. That one is the Alec Baldwin case. Yes, we all know about that one. So thank you so much. I can't even say enough how much of a pleasure that was. You guys are fantastic. You're just lovely people. You guys are
amazing. Seriously.
No, Becca said, "Show us your puppies," and I was like, "Is she being dirty?" No, I'm kidding.
Keep
but
that.
This is my boy.
Hello.
Yeah, she's my boy. You know, you're a pain in the butt sometimes, but you're my boy.
I know.
What's your name?
That's Sunshine.
Yeah, that's Sunshine.
Hello, Sunshine.
I call him Boo all the time, but
no,
he's actually, I mean, literally, he's been my best friend.
No.
Come here, buddy.
Hello. Hey, Sunshine. How's it going?
Come here, cute. Oh yeah, your breath stinks though. Hold on.
Squishy face. Hey.
But no, you know, it's like she got a brand new puppy. You know, you probably want to see that.
I was gonna say I'll lure you on cuteness with my puppy.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I mean, no, you're wrong. I've seen him.
Cool. All righty. That was just awesome, and we would love to see you again, either on this channel or Mr. Salvador Dali's channel. We might swap this around a little bit. It's my lovely co-host. It's been fantastic. We wish you all the best. We really do. We want to see justice done. We really do. And anytime you need anything at all, just yell out. We'd love to just do anything we can to help. Okay, thank you so much, everybody in chat. Thank you, Ty and Lauren. Have a wonderful day, night, whatever it is. It's actually Tuesday for me. Tuesday morning over here.
Actually, I mean, hey, look, thanks a lot, guys. You know, I appreciate it.
It's wonderful.
More people to
Have
get
a
this
great
out
day.
there, the better.
All right, everyone say EU and Dali Road when you go over to Danny and Direct. And yeah, that's it. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Okay.
Godspeed.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.